Hey guys, what's up? Cardfight here, and today I'm here with a Genesis deck profile. This is a Minerva build, so you guys have been asking for this, and I've been playing with this deck for quite a few days now, and it's a very fun deck to play, and it's very good. Let's just get right into the deck profile. So for the starting Vanguard, I run the new Battle Maiden unit. Its skill is when this card boosts a grade 3 Genesis unit, you can solo charge one. So it's a pretty simple skill, but it's pretty good. Yeah. Some people are like, oh well, it only solo charges when it's grade 3, and that it doesn't really. That is actually a good thing because you don't really want to solo charge that much in this deck because there's only a few occasions where you actually need to solo charge, and there's a lot of different ways you can solo charge. So, and this is not the main method, of course. So, that's why this card is good because it gives you one, and one is actually quite a important number. Solo charging one is quite an important number, which is something I'll explain later on. Next, I run for Minerva. She's of course, the trump card of the deck, the ace. Her skill is when this card attacks a Vanguard, you can counterblast one. Actually, it doesn't even have to be Vanguard. When this card, it just says when this card attacks at the end of the battle, you can counterblast one, solo blast 3, and then ditch 3 cards, and then you can stand up this card, and this card gets plus 5,000 power afterwards. So basically, she's good. She's a restanding Vanguard that gives herself 5,000 power after the battle, which is actually pretty good because unlike Descendant and stuff, this card gets plus 5,000 power, and yeah, the cost is actually this card is pretty good because the cost is pretty much non-existent. I mean, Counterblast 1 and Soul Blasting 3 is actually not even a steep cost, like, especially for a deck like this. Soul charging is quite easy. Next, I run for Angelica, which is, or of course, Minerva's a cross ride. So when Angelica's in Soul, you can get plus 2k power. So she comes with a 13k base, which makes it even better because it's a just restanding restanding cross ride, and I heard that's pretty good. Next, I run for Angelica, and her skill is when a Genesis unit rides on top of this card, you can Soul Blast 3, and then you can draw 2 cards, and then after that, your Vanguard gets plus 10k power. She's pretty good. You can ride over right on top, and then you still get a +1. Just in case you don't have Minerva, and then you still swing for pretty big numbers, so it's good. Yeah, the cards that you draw for this kind of negates the cost for Minerva's Ditch. So again, these cross rides, this cross brick ride block works pretty well together, and it's pretty good. Of course, second skill is when this card attacks a Vanguard, you can solo charge 1 and it gets plus 1,000 power, so 1,000 power, so it becomes a 12k attacker. Oh, dude, correct. Yeah. Next, we run for 12k attackers for Sacred Regalia units. So she's only a 12k attacker when you are during your grade 3 phase, which is it's alright, I guess. Next, I run 3 Grappas. Her skill is when this card is Soul Blasted, you can Soul Charge 2, which is why this card is very important, because when you Soul Charge 2, you're still missing 1 for Minerva's skill. I don't know why, if you happen just to have empty soul or something, and this is the last card you Soul Blast, and yeah, you have that extra soul to work with later on. I'm running on 3 because there's other cards that I want to run, and yeah. Next, I run 2 Witch of Cranes. When this card is Soul Blasted, you can counterblast 1 to superior call this card from your drop zone. She's a pretty good card. She helped me a lot of times, especially since you're going to ditch in this deck. If you don't have attackers, then this card will help you quite a bit when you restand. Usually when you restand, you can just Soul Blast this, and then you have an extra unit to work with to attack your opponent. Yeah. And then next I run 2 of the Counterblast 1 Soul Blast 3s, or Soul Charge 3s. When this card attack hits, you can Counterblast 1 to Soul Charge 3, which is pretty important in this deck because it gives off a lot of pressure early game, and yeah, you can help force a lot of guards off your opponent. You don't actually have to get her effect off in order to win, or her skill is actually just a failsafe because this deck Soul Charge is enough already on its own, using Angelica and this, and then you have these, and this card. Getting her effect off just makes it easier for you to have that extra soul. So yeah. So during your grade 2 ride phase, if you ride any of these cards here, you're good to go. Of course, you don't want to ride these, but the odds aren't likely that you'll ride them. But of course, there's still that chance that you will. Then you're just gonna have a 9K vanilla. But all the other times you're gonna have some great cards to use later on, or on that turn. This card. So grade 1, I run 3 of the 10K attacker for Sacred Regalias. The reason I run this card is because since you Soul Charge so much, there's like high chances that you will Soul Charge all your attackers in, and it's always great to have extra units to work with. So that's why I run her. You can run Rich of Frogs over this, so yeah, but I don't because 1, I sold all my Rich of Frogs, so that is a problem, and yeah, that's pretty much it. This guy's still good though. She helps me. She helped me a lot since there's a lot of games where I didn't have any grade 2s to work with because they're either all in my soul, or I don't know what happened to them. They're like stuck together in my deck or something. And then you just call this out, and she's a great 10K attacker. Normally I don't like running grade 1 10K attackers for units that only have grade 3 because you can't early rush, but this card's an exception. So there's that. Next, I run 3 Ordained Owl. Ordained Owl is a great card. He is one of the cards that help you win games. Because for those who don't know its skill, it's choose a Sacred Regalia unit from your drop zone and put it to the bottom of your deck. And after that, your Sacred Regalia, one of your Sacred Regalia cards gets plus 5K. So you can pump your rear guard Sacred Regalia units or your Vanguard Sacred Regalia units, depending on the situation. If you don't have enough soul, of course, you're going to pump your rear guard so that you can force more guard off your opponent's hand. But if your opponent's low on hand and you can still restand, you're going to probably pump your Vanguard. Because, yeah. And the best thing about this card is that since you Soul Blast so much, there's going to be lots of, Sacred Regalia cards in your drop zone. If the most I've seen is like 5, and I put all 5 to the bottom deck. Gave my rear guard Angelica plus 10K, and then my Vanguard Minerva plus 15K, because you can do this effect multiple times per turn. So you can pump your units 5 times, which is ridiculous because then you pretty much withstood. Like attacked, I broke ride, attack, swung for 21 plus 15 plus 18, 21, is huge. It was like, let's see, 18, so 18, 28, 28, 28, 38. Attack for 38, unboosted, and then my opponent's like, oh, I guess I'm a perfect guard, and then, you know, I get like a crit trigger and something, a blank, and then I just put my crit on this, and then my power on my rear guard. Stand up, attack again. They couldn't guard, and they died because it was even bigger after that because it got the extra 5k from herself, and then I used my booster to attack. So it's pretty good. It's really good actually. So yeah. Ordain now MVP of the deck. Next I run for the Valencia, I think. Yeah, Valencia. Her effect is when this card's soul blasted, you can soul charge 2. So it's the same skill as Grappa. She's the main grade 1 ride target. So there's that. Next I run 4 Perfect Guards. I don't run the Quintet Wall in this deck because I don't like Quintet Wall in this deck. I don't know why, I just don't. I tried the Cider, what's the card? Cider and Aegis combo, but that combo is pretty slow. Like, I don't know. In my opinion, that combo only works when you're losing, because a lot of times I didn't even need to perfect guard, so there was no point in quintet walling, because yeah, I don't know. I just feel like, also, you know, I don't know, just because it might be the way I built the deck, because I don't know. Actually, I'll explain a little bit later. Right to the trigger lineups. Run 12 quit, 12 crit. Because this deck, this is one of those decks that you can run 12 crit without, you know, having a crappy hand size. Because of Angelica. Yeah. Basically, you're gonna draw so much that you don't even need to have draw triggers, and of course, it's good for, you know, if you use quintet wall, but a lot of times you won't even need to use a perfect guard. Yeah, and then run 4 heals, of course. And yeah, 12 crit is really good, which is also one of the reasons why it's pretty good to rush down your opponent, because the chances of you hitting a crit early game is very high, and a lot of times it happens like this. I attack turn 1, attack turn 1, I get a crit trigger, they're at 2, attack with turn 2, probably hit a crit trigger or something, and then they're at 4 already, and then just like, wow, this sucks, and then, you know, you win from there, and there's really no need to run quintet wall. You don't really need to run the Cider Aegis combo. It just, I don't know. Because in my opinion, this deck is quite fast, and you win quite fast, and you know, this deck is just really good. Is there anything else I want to say? Not really. So yeah, cards that you can take out again are the 10k attackers for Melissa, I think her name is. She's the Witch of Frogs. This is like the only change that I would do. I wouldn't take these out for Ciders. These were Ciders before. Did not work for me. I'd rather run these. And yeah. As for Soul, there's really no problem, because a lot of times you're gonna probably hit into one of these, or you're gonna ride into these, and after you soul blast them, you pretty much replenish your soul. So yeah, soul charging is not a problem in this deck, and in this deck you don't really need to soul blast that much, because the main cards that do need soul blasting is this and this. Well, these are the only cards that need soul blasting, and you only need to do this like twice max. If you don't win the first time, if you don't win with this when you break ride, then I don't know. You're probably gonna finish them off next turn. Yeah, because you know those 12 crits really do pack a punch, and you know her break ride is really good because you get draw a lot of cards. And if you draw two triggers, it's fine because they're 2 10k shields. Which is another reason why I don't want to draw, is because if you use your skill, draw 2 and you draw like a draw trigger and something, you'd be like, well, why did I draw a draw trigger? Because draw triggers aren't that good to draw into. So that minimizes the chances of you drawing into those crap cards. Right, so that's pretty much it for this deck profile. I hope you liked the deck. Next up will be Ganstolf Zenith Ganslot. I also play tests with that deck, and that deck is doing pretty well. But yeah, this is pretty much it for today, guys. This is Cardfight, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.